All right, let's get this party started. I am excited to introduce Amy Dillon from Aero Precision. So welcome everyone to the second annual Firearms and Hunting Industry Holiday Advertising Masterclass. For those of you who were here for the first one, hopefully you noticed that we've put a lot more effort into it this year. It was pretty last minute last year, and we thought of it, launched it, and had it up and running in like 48 hours. So we're happy to say that we've got Amy joining us this year, our first guest presenter. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, if you want to move forward a couple slides, I will give the proper introduction for Amy. So move forward to the next one, the nice bio page. Yeah, we'll skip through the Topple slide because hopefully, if you're here, you already know about Topple. But if you don't, we're the world's largest firearms and hunting-friendly digital advertising platform with publishing partners like Daily Caller, Gun Digest, Gun Broker, Recoil, The Blaze, AR15.com. The list kind of goes on and on from there. But we work with advertisers like Aero Precision, who is a Topple partner, which is kind of like the highest tier that you can get in the Topple advertising ecosystem. So some of you may know that obviously Topple is a self-serve platform. You can use it as a pay-as-you-go platform, just like Google Ads. But then we offer different ad spend plans starting at $1,000 a month. And the Topple partner level is really not even like an advertised level. It's above and beyond our advanced plan where we have different co-marketing opportunities. So Amy actually flew out to Germany earlier this year and presented with us at IWA Outdoor Classics in Nuremberg. What we're doing today is a similar presentation, but highly customized for the holiday advertising season, especially as Amy kind of looks at the data that she has at her fingertips and how she makes the decisions that she makes both for the holiday season, but also how it informs kind of like year-long decisions that the business makes. So it's much more than just like, hey, how do we run great ad campaigns? It's how do we use data to inform business decisions? For those of you who don't know Amy, she's a former U.S. Marine Corps data analyst and instructor with 12 years in the firearms industry. It's got to be more than that by now, right? 13, 14?
Yeah, I stopped keeping track after 10.
Well, she specializes in data-driven marketing, audience insights, and ad optimization with a lot of experience in firearms retail, training, and digital strategy. So she transforms real-time analytics into measurable growth. She's been I would consider a Topple power user for, I don't know, almost 2 years now, I would say. Does that sound about right?
That sounds right.
All right, perfect. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. I know you're here to see Amy and learn from, the Topple power user. So without any further ado, here's Amy.
Well, thank you, Brian, for that wonderful introduction. And just to kind of start things out here, going into Q4, we're already into one of the busiest times of the year for all of us as marketers. And it's really time, if you haven't begun to think about your holiday marketing strategy, now is the time to finish up our holiday planning. And I know that's kind of challenging in today's climate, especially in the firearms industry. We're still dealing with supply chain issues and things like that. But, many businesses see a major chunk of their annual revenue in Q4. And at Aero Precision, we also see that as well. I do want to kind of start things out by just mentioning that Topple has been a great partner of ours for the last almost 2 years now, and it was one of our top 5 traffic sources during the 2024 holidays. So as we're gearing up to start advertising for this season's or this holiday season, we are heavily reliant on Topple as one of those drivers for revenue. Just some other statistics to kind of show you how impactful Topple has been. To our success, we did track a 13% increase of new users, and we were able to capture anonymous browsers to our site during the holiday period. This is especially important because a lot of those new users that may find us because of our increased advertising during Q4, they subscribe to our email newsletters, SMS channel, and we are then able to kind of get them into our funnel so we can advertise to them throughout the year. So being able to capture new users is very important, and that's something that when we use Topple to advertise, we're able to, and we'll go into this later, but we're able to kind of manipulate our advertising efforts to try to capture new users specifically. Our revenue did increase by 52% in Q4 24 during what I'm sure many of you are experiencing as well, a very turbulent time in the outdoors, specifically the firearms industry. And I do want to mention just some other, just to go along with that 52% increase, that was calculated by an on average year to date at the end of Q3. From the period of Q3 entering Q4, which November was our most successful month, we actually saw a 95% increase in revenue, and Topple being in the top 5, one of our top 5 channels, heavily contributed to that. So I just wanted to mention that. Q4, as I mentioned before, is the biggest sales period of the year for most businesses. For us, we did see 33% of our entire 2024 revenue earned during Q4. And just to kind of go into some of the granular data there, 48,560 items were ordered, 42,571 purchases were made. We saw a 2% conversion rate, which is on the high side, is higher than the average of between 1 to 1.5% in the outdoors industry. I mentioned the 52% increase in revenue, and I wanted to put this number here just to kind of show you the impact that you can get with advertising with Topple. We saw a specific number here, $65,186.12 from Topple, and I want to mention that this revenue was directly attributed to single session, single touch point Topple ad campaigns. Of course, we do advertise in other channels. We have our email newsletter, we have SMS, we have our influencers and social as well. This doesn't, and I was talking to Brian about this. This can't, we can't really quantify the amount that of revenue that was generated from Topple, because we have to remember that there are multi-touch attribution points. Someone might see an ad campaign, they have Aero on their mind, and then they later come back. And so that, of course, that traffic is attributed to direct or organic or one of our email newsletters. And so it's important to just mention that when we say 65K was generated from Topple. 9.63% of all visitors from Topple have added an item to their shopping cart, and that's a pretty high number. All right, we're going to go into just one of our case study, and this is an actual ad campaign that we launched during Black Friday of last week. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to play the GIF that should be appearing, but our logo, the letter A there, you see that actually blinked in the ad campaign. So as you can see, it's a very simple kind of graphic. There's not even a picture of a firearm there or any products for advertising. We're just saying, hey, it's Black Friday, welcome to Solus Week. Our customers know that the Solus is our bolt action rifle. And these campaigns generated, as you can see there on the screen, our 320 by 100 ad size, which is mobile, resulted in 1,156 clicks. We saw 2.51% conversion rate. The highest conversion rate was 306 clicks, and that resulted in 17 sales, and that was a 5.56% conversion rate, which is almost double what the high average conversion rate is in the industry. So it's important to play around with your creatives and just ensure that you do a lot of A and B testing. I actually take a lot of opportunity to do A and B testing, even in the middle of a heavy promo period, because I'm able to see in real time, what ads are getting clicks. And if I notice that one ad is getting a lot of clicks in the middle of, once I've had the sale going, or once we've had that promo going for about 4 to 6 hours, I look at the clicks in comparison to the other ad sizes we have, and I might decide, all right, this ad's getting more clicks than the other one, so for the rest of the daily budget, I'm going to direct everything to the 320 by 100 ad. Or I might play around with the targeting. I might say, okay, I go to my Google Analytics and I say, okay, I see that we have a lot of customers in the state of Texas that are looking at our site right now. So I might direct a lot of ads to them, a lot of direct response ads. I might throw a sale in there. We also do the same thing when we're looking at page views. I'm looking at, okay, what pages are getting the most clicks? What products are our customers tracking? What are they searching for? Where are they landing? And so that might have me, go to our marketing team and say, hey, is there any way we can get a coupon going, or maybe we can put another sale because this item is getting a lot of visibility right now. And so we'll use those methods to increase our revenue and in real time change our advertising strategy.
Amy, before you move on,
Sure.
I know that I'm breaking MasterClass protocol here by not saving the question for the end, but
okay,
because you are a power user, I want the attendees to be able to learn from your experience. How many creatives do you normally launch like for a given campaign?
That's a great question. Depending on what the promo is that we're offering, we might launch especially if I'm A/B testing a text heavy graphic versus maybe if we're able to advertise below map. We sometimes will put a price on there to see if that drives clicks. So I would say at minimum, we always do at least the five sizes that you're allowed on the Topple platform. So I put a full set on, especially for high traffic holiday periods. If it's just a flash sale that we're doing, I may just focus on the top 2 ads that we are seeing results in. So we'll put out at least a minimum 2. But during heavy holiday periods, we might have at one time between 5 to 15 creatives that are in our digital ad platform. And then during the day, I check in multiple times during the day, especially if I know that we have ads going. So I'll check in the morning. I'll compare what our Google Analytics is showing as far as our website traffic. And I think I'm getting ahead of myself actually.
Well, that you're not, because I still have more questions on this. But you're starting to answer one of them, which is I was going to ask how often you log in and launch new campaigns, because from a user perspective, we see some advertisers, they might launch one campaign for a season, or maybe 2 or 3 campaigns a year. But it seems like you guys are always coming up with flash sale concepts, different ways to move product. How many campaigns would you say that you guys launch in a given year? Or is that difficult to quantify?
It's difficult to quantify because I know it's a lot. I know if I go to my Topple dashboard right now, I've got pages of creatives there that are just, they're also static. Some are static that we can just use for more brand awareness campaigns, but I rely heavily on being able to push specific graphics for sales that we have. Obviously for Q4, our holiday messaging, we just had a Halloween, last month. And so I would say anywhere between 5 to 15 at any given time. but just keeping those creatives in our Topple dashboard, we probably have, I would say 30 to 40 just in our file to use. So we have a very I guess regular schedule when it comes to our digital advertising and the different campaigns we rotate through.
And I think that's part of your success, right? Because you guys follow seasonality. So you've got Halloween campaigns, Memorial Day campaigns, Labor Day, obviously the holiday season campaigns. But if you have like product overruns, I think I might have seen like even blemished item sales,
Yes, we
new
do
product
that.
drops. It seems like every opportunity you guys are looking at your business data and saying, okay, we've got these products to move. Let's launch these campaigns. How do you guys make those decisions? And I think one of the questions too that might be helpful is how do you get the creative turned around so quickly? Because creative can be such a bottleneck for a lot of advertisers.
It can. We're a very fortunate team that we do have an in-house creative team, and so we have our own in-house graphic designers that are able to produce that content for us pretty much on the fly, and so that's helpful for any businesses that don't have that ability and the capability to get kind of on-demand creatives. You know, I would suggest working with your content creators, whether they are you're hiring them, you know, off season, sending them your products and having them kind of get you the creatives you need to be able to kind of keep a file. And really, this should be done, you know, obviously for new products that may be launching during the holidays, that might be difficult. But for regular items that are regularly stocked, I would say building a media library, and then using that to generate ads during the year are going to be very valuable to your success.
It's probably worth also mentioning that Topple maintains a Rolodex of creative agencies and freelancers. And we've worked with them to kind of say, hey, these are the 5 most popular ad sizes that we offer. And they've pulled together a very affordable package rate. So if you had creative needs and you didn't have the capability in-house, your agency's too busy, we won't create the ads for you, but we can introduce you to some great agencies and some great freelancers.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, and I do want to say that the firearms industry, it's catching up now, because historically, and this is just data I pulled from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, you know, the industry is typically kind of lagged in digital adoption, but we're starting to see a surge in just building those digital experiences, and of course, you know, being able to advertise on Topple, which is a huge relief to the firearms community, because we are blocked out of being able to advertise on Google and on Meta, with Meta on Facebook, and so it's fantastic to have the ability to even get digital advertising campaigns out there for firearms, with firearms in the ads.
Okay, well, that's it for my questions. I'm going to let you get back to the program. Sorry, everyone. I wanted to ask those questions because I knew creative can be, you know, like I said, such a bottleneck for people.
Yeah, and I mean, please jump in when you can, Brian, because there's so much data to go over, and sometimes it's a lot, and I know this is a lot of information. So there is a chat feature. So if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to drop a question in the chat, and I will do my best to get those answered in real time. For video ads, Topple does have the ability to upload video ads as well. We've seen some of our highest conversion rate and ROAS with our video ads. We see $4.25 in revenue for every $1 spent. And so we're able to capitalize on those digital shoppers with promotions and retargeting. For video ads, we're also seeing a 2.33% conversion rate, which compared to the next best converting ad at 2.14%, a little higher. Lowest cost per click of all ad formats, so it is the most efficient. And video, you know, allows you to tell a bigger story as well. Even as a consumer myself, you know, I'm more drawn to, and I'm sure you are as well, I'm more drawn to looking at a video for a few seconds rather than just seeing a static ad. So just make sure that you do diversify what campaigns you are putting out there. And then we see here Topple's pricing model. It only charges after a 10-second view. So if anyone looks at a video for less than 10 seconds, that's just free brand exposure that we get when users may skip out early on viewing the whole video.
We try to have as high of a view rate as possible, so we're not giving away free videos. But if we're not resonating with the right audience, we don't want you guys to have to pay for it.
All right, so I know that as marketers, we probably get asked this question a lot. What's the ROAS? What's the return on ad spend? And, ROAS is great. It shows how much revenue we're earning for every dollar we're spending on ads. But if you're not seeing a high ROAS, and this is where we touched up on this in the last slide, consider tweaking your ad targeting or consider tweaking your creative. So again, I mentioned I do a lot of A/B testing. I'll sometimes ask our graphic designers, hey, can you give me an ad where we put a picture of the product versus a lifestyle image? Maybe I'll put, if we're able to put a price on it, can you give me an ad that shows the price, and then give me an ad that says click here to reveal price. So we do a lot of testing, and the ability to have a platform and that dashboard where I can log in any time of day allows me to see what's working, and then I can pivot really quickly on ensuring that whatever budget I have set aside for that day goes towards the most impactful ad. So ROAS, again, ROAS is great. Some other data that I like to track that I consistently brief my executive team on is just a few other things that show success. So have we seen an uptick in the number of sessions? If I see an uptick in the number of sessions, and this could be week over week, month over month, it can even be day over day, I track when I have ads in play. And even if I don't see a direct revenue generated from that single click, single session, if I see a number of sessions all of a sudden driven, a lot of driving web traffic, and I'm looking at all my variables and I know, okay, this day I had a Topple ad, this day I did not, I can kind of tell a story of this is what worked this week, or this is what worked that month. We put, we had this many ads out. I can track what ads they were, and I can see that correlation between our page views, what email we sent out, and sometimes that directs what email and SMS promo we send out. But number of sessions is something I track on a daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis. I also look at the number of new users. So how many top of funnel customers are we obtaining? This shows whether campaigns are attracting fresh audiences and also expanding our reach. And again, another tool that you can use with Topple is, and I'm sure Ryan's going to go over this later, but the ability to look for that like-minded audience and serve them an ad that that will pique their interest. Has our SMS or our email subscriber list grown? This reflects the long-term audience capture, and also, again, with that, bringing them into the funnel, we can now remarket to them. And there's a lot of potential. We see a lot of potential growth with the new users that are coming into our subscriber list. One thing that I track also, and I'm very happy about seeing this just on our end, is where does direct and organic traffic fall when you're looking at your traffic acquisition. This reveals how much paid efforts influence our overall brand discovery and also search behavior. I always, want to pat our team in the back and let our team know whenever I see our direct and organic traffic is above every other marketing effort that we have in the channel, in our channels there. So direct, of course, means that a customer just went and searched aeroprecisionusa.com directly. Organic shows our SEO is working. And so whenever I can see direct and organic, direct being on top, being our number one traffic driver, then I know that our efforts are paying off.
And so direct is really like a strong indicator of brand awareness, right? So So all of your marketing efforts, whether it's email or advertising or, organic social, they've all done the job of getting your brand in front of the right customer. So that way they know that they can just go to Google and type in Aero Precision, or they can go directly to your website.
Right.
And in one of the other slides, we're going to talk a little bit more about, what you can do, kind of like the strategy for if you haven't yet achieved, the brand name recognition that, a company like Aero Precision has in the market space, because let's face it, not a lot of companies have that brand recognition. And, some of those marketers are here on that call. So they might see, direct and organic as, some of the bottom traffic sources for them.
Exactly. Yeah, and remember, sometimes looking at data does get rather boring, and it's very monotonous. And I shouldn't say boring; it's monotonous. But keep in mind that metrics aren't just numbers on a screen. You can use this data to pretty much provide a roadmap to help you know what's working and what may need adjusting. And knowing, when we see those ups and downs in our data metrics, we can then pivot and think of other effective strategies in our marketing plan to increase traffic. And knowing which lever to pull is probably one of the most crucial skills that as marketers we must possess. And of course, have we seen an increase in total sales and revenue? This demonstrates the real world business impact beyond any of the data we're looking at, because the bottom line is, have we increased our total sales and revenue? And that's what I know, that's what every executive team wants to hear. All right, I'm telling the data story. So we kind of touched on this earlier, but again, using those metrics to help tell a story on how your customers are behaving and where to meet them at. So I just put a few items here that are high visibility items that I usually check on a daily basis. Geographical location. Where are my customers at? This helps me identify where demand may be strongest and also where to focus regional marketing efforts. Of course, in the firearms industry, there are some states that we have to keep in mind that they're not allowed to purchase certain accessories or certain types of firearms. So we may, eliminate them from a particular campaign. And so I know that our advertising dollars aren't going to an area where it's I would say it's pointless to market in, because they're unable to buy our products there. I also look at product categories browsed. This reveals where our customers' interests are and guides us to which product lines we need to start promoting more heavily or asking about when it comes to coming up with those offers throughout the year, especially in Q4 when we're trying to get as much revenue as possible before the end of the year. Specific SKUs, we pinpoint our top performing or even underperforming products for inventory and optimization. Also post-purchase, I look at what customers are purchasing, and then within 60 to 120 days, and of course, us being a firearms company, and we get a lot of people that build their own ARs. I look at, okay, if someone purchased let's say a strip lower, I know that they're going to need other items to start building their rifle. And so we do a lot of post-purchase targeting campaigns to customers that we know are going to make repeat purchases to complete their build. And this helps inform us of the entire life cycle marketing. We'll take notice of what products they're purchasing, whether it was their first purchase, and we try to predict what their next purchase will be. In-cart items, this is huge for us. It indicates which abandoned products to retarget and also how to craft more effective reminders. At any given time, I can look at what our customers have in their cart. And so if I notice that a lot of customers are, for some reason, holding on to this one particular item in their cart, maybe we'll put that on a flash sale, and then I'm going to retarget those customers to let them know, hey, that cart you have or that item that you have in your cart, it's now on sale. And that might be the extra help they need to get them to actually make a purchase. And then A/B testing, I'm a huge fan of A/B testing, because then that gives me performance data rather than just guessing what's the best thing that we can do for a certain promo, or maybe it's a holiday promo specific. I do a lot of I have the last, I think, 4 or 5 years that I track as far as what did we do last year during this time, and I'll use that as a variable in what we're going to do this year. Measuring success with all of the available data. So I have a pretty heavy, I guess, marketing technology stack, Topple being one of them, that helps me look at the complete picture and not just, this one particular technology we might be using. I don't just look at that and look at the clicks for that associated with the revenue. I look at the entire picture. Again, I'm looking at what does my Google Analytics say when it comes to web traffic. Okay, I'm noticing a spike during this day. What happened on that day? And I'll go back and look at all of my reports. What email did I send out? Did we send an SMS out? What ads did we have going? Where were these ads going? Were they more? I know that 70% of our customers are utilizing their a mobile device. So did we put a lot of efforts into our mobile campaigns versus desktop campaigns? Being able to look at all that data and know what worked and what didn't helps us with our growth in the long run. We do incorporate retargeting pixels. So we have a pixel with Topple that we can see based on product categories and abandoned parts, what's driving conversions in the 90 days. Once a person clicks on an ad, we follow them. We can also use pixels to track other goals, such as our email signups or searches, to assess our kind of full funnel performance. And then we do track sales and revenue with other conversion pixels. So we know where our revenue is being generated from, whether that's our digital advertising efforts, our email, our SMS, or a blog. Maybe it's a referral, or one of our influencers have done a review. So we're able to track where this traffic is coming from and the ROI directly associated with those campaign efforts. Again, measuring revenue lift with analytics and financial reports. I'm a fan of looking at the impressions and the clicks, even if it didn't lead to a purchase, because it does show how our potential customers are influenced by ads. So we still want to take that into consideration. And just identifying any increase in other website events, so we can understand how campaigns are improving or how campaigns are performing, and we can then improve any on-site engagement by tracking deeper interactions. So looking at the sessions on your website versus engaged session, that really helps kind of drive, just because a person clicks on your website, what is driving them to do the next action, where it's actually considered an engaged session where they're looking at products or signing up for your newsletter. And then, of course, the most important one for us when it comes to revenue is that purchase event. Building your brand and trust first. So Brian, you did mention, Aero Precision is a known brand in the firearms community, and so for us, we do see a lot of loyalty from our customers. We interact with them on a regular basis on our social media channels. We send them a lot of emails and SMS to let them know what's going on. We don't want them to miss out on a sale or a promo we're offering. And most firearms and hunting purchases are based on trust. And unlike probably any other retail business out there, when someone is, especially when you have a person who's purchasing a firearm for the first time, they are looking for a brand that they can trust. They might not know a lot, so they're looking for basically a partnership, if you will, because we're assuming that most people when they buy a firearm, they're buying accessories, and we've kind of brought them into the two-way community, which is a very loyal and long-standing community to be a part of. Guns and optics aren't impulse buys. We've calculated that the sales cycle for a new firearm or component usually takes about 60 to 120 days. So keeping at the top of mind with brand campaigns so that when they're ready to buy, they think of you is extremely important. And we touched on that in ensuring that if you are a newer brand or you're kind of a boutique company that doesn't have that same presence, being able to have something, a static ad, for example, going at all times, and you're serving it to your customers who are looking at other items in the same space as you are, they'll automatically think of you. Oh yeah, I saw that ad for Aero Precision. I'm ready to buy now. Let me go check out what they're doing, or I got this email, I signed up for their notifications. And so, being able to stay at the top of their mind is key. A lot of people that purchase, especially optics or guns, are doing a lot of comparison shopping. They're doing a lot of research. They're not just going in and buying something. It's not an impulse buy. Again, keeping an eye on traffic acquisition to where eventually you want your primary channel to be direct towards the top of the list. Because when direct is above organic, that's when we have brand awareness. We can now focus our digital ad strategy to be product and sale focused, not brand focused. So that's something that we do at Aero. Is a lot of our ads are direct response, where we're promoting a sale, because we know that the majority of our customers they already know us, and they know our product line, and kind of that we're trying to innovate and offer them new products. If you don't have that awareness, something that you can do is run a brand campaign for 6 months before moving to more of a direct response ad. If you haven't done this before, it's basically look at your Google Analytics, look at your traffic, where direct, organic, and all the other channels that you might use, where do they fall on your top 10 of your traffic acquisition. Run a brand awareness campaign for 6 months, keeping an eye daily on how they're performing, pivot when you need to, make adjustments. And then when you go back in 6 months and you compare what your traffic is compared to what it was 6 months ago, you can then see that my direct or my organic is now above my other efforts. So now I can adjust my efforts toward more of that direct response instead of just brand awareness.
Did you want me to take this slide, or are you happy to do this one?
We can. I can do it, Brian. It's fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm excited for this one because it's an opportunity for us to take kind of like all of the insights about what makes a great marketing strategy, the data that we look at, and now we can start taking all of that information and putting it into the holiday season that's coming up. I mean, really, some brands have already started to launch campaigns, right? Mm-hmm. So some of them are, a little bit ahead of the game. Some companies are going to be launching, this week, or probably by the end of next week at the latest. But this is a bit of a schedule. So, Amy, I'll let you kind of walk through this.
Sure. And so, as we're focusing, because this is holiday, centered around holiday advertising, we want to make sure that you're creating holiday ads that create a sense of urgency. And so, as you can see the schedule here, we kind of want to build that anticipation with your customers. Everyone usually does have a Black Friday sale, and a lot of people will wait until Black Friday to start making their purchases. So if you are able to, do like sneak peeks or previews, or, a countdown for your creative advertising to your potential customers, it kind of keeps your brand at the top of their mind. And so the countdown to Black Friday is typically November 21st through the 27th. Some examples there, you might say 3 days to go, or tomorrow's the day, or the sale launches at midnight. Those are some things that we've done in the past that have been very successful, and we'll even see some conversions that happen from those types of messaging as well. Black Friday is November 28th, so we want to go bold with high impact, action-driven ads targeting ready-to-buy customers. So this is where you want to advertise your doorbusters, You know, a lot of your biggest offers might be on Black Friday, or you might have a sale that is only on Black Friday and then maybe to taper off throughout the holiday season. Cyber Monday is another big shopping holiday, capitalizing on digital shoppers specifically, and you know, being in an e-commerce being in the e-commerce space, of course, is important to be aggressive with any online promotions and retargeting. And it's another opportunity to get in front of your customers and offer a special sale just for Cyber Monday. Last minute shopping is usually done during December 2nd through the 24th. And this is where you can shift your messaging to offer last chance, convenient, fast delivery products, letting them know, hey, it's not too late. If you order these items now, they'll be able to ship before Christmas. And don't forget about post-holiday deals. January is another big kind of after holiday time that, you know, you can hold clearance events or New Year promos or winter sales. And you can also, if you offer gift cards, you can capture, you know, being able to redeem gift cards and any other add-on deals that you may include when it comes to post-holiday shopping.
I've got a couple of questions for you before you move on to the next slide, just because the number of campaigns that we're showing here might be more campaigns than some brands launch all year, right? So how important is it that the messaging kind of be like personalized and timely, especially during the holiday season?
Oh, I would say it's huge. I mean, if you just, I'm sure anyone, when they open their inbox right now, you probably have a whole, bunch of emails and from companies that you've subscribed to. So being able to stand out and be personable, I think is very effective when it comes to marketing and getting your message across. You can use, look at your subject lines. You can use graphics, the creatives, the type of images. We talked about GIFs, video ads, anything that may be different from the sea of advertising that everyone's going to be bombarded with during the holiday season. And also, look at your baseline from last year and review what worked last year, and maybe use those same the things that worked last year, you can do. Or if it didn't work last year, if you notice, okay, this didn't work last year, so we're going to try something different this year. This helps you see, where your efforts are truly paying off, and also being able to identify areas for improvement. I like looking at what other companies are doing as well, with other brands, because I like to compare. Okay, oh, that's really cool. I might take that idea and tweak it a little bit to our brand. But it is important to kind of have your finger on the pulse of what kind of everyone's doing, so your customers are, because your customers are doing the same thing.
Do you think if there's if this might be overwhelming, right? Because for every one of these, we're talking about, up to 5 different ads, and that's if you only have one variation. If you're A/B testing, then you're looking at, up to 10 or even 15 pieces of creative for the countdown to Black Friday, and then Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday. Is there kind of like for a lean marketing, in-house agency, what would you recommend that they kind of focus on? What's the most important out of these?
Out of these, I would say Black Friday, for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And the reason I say that is because those, historically, are just the highest shopping days of the year, and that's across the board in any industry. And so with your customers in mind, they're going to be looking for those deals. If you're able to, and the messaging can be very simple. If you're able to do a countdown, let them know, okay, my favorite company is going to be doing something on Black Friday, so I'm looking forward to it. And they might have, limited budget, that, okay, I'm going to, they might have a list, because not only are they trying to shop for themselves, but they also have to shop for their loved ones as well. So let them know what's coming, let them know something's coming, and then that might be first on their list. Okay, I want to check Aero Precision, because I know they're going to be putting on a Black Friday sale, and I know that they said that it's going to be launching at midnight on this day, so I'm going to be ready to check to check the website. And we'll, it's really interesting because there are times that during when we've done that, when we've sent out 3 days to go or tomorrow's the day, I'll actually sit on Google Analytics and I'll just look at the traffic increase, and I can see people are remembering that we sent this creative out or we served this creative, this past week, and now I'm seeing the response to it, and you see it in real time, so we know it works. At minimum, I would say, for even if you don't have a specific campaign for Black Friday, November, I mean, now's the time to have that static ad, and whether it's just a simple brand awareness campaign, just so people know and will have you again at the top of their mind, because this is a shopping month. People will be shopping. People that like guns will be shopping for guns, and they're looking and remembering what brands they want to check. Everyone has a list of favorites or something that they might have waited 6 months to buy because they know that once a year this heavy discount is coming. And so I would say focus efforts on Black Friday, probably that countdown, and Cyber Monday.
That's a great point. Customers are kind of expecting to get a deal during the holiday season. So if you're not top of mind, then your competitors are.
Right. And evaluate as you go. So you're able to, if you are running a like a countdown, or if you are running different creatives during this time period, you can look at what's working, what isn't. If something isn't working, cut it out immediately and just drive that your budget towards what is working. I think that's it for my portion. I do want to mention, with the data first mindset, you are creating a foundation for long-term growth. And so hopefully I have given you something to think about, showing you the success that we've had at Aero Precision, really diving into the analytics and ensuring that we have all, fires going in different directions to kind of keep us top of mind when it comes to our customers and being able to deliver those offers to them.
That's right. Thank you, Amy. I've got a couple of things that I want to touch on, but we do have a couple questions. So after I walk through this, please stay for a little Q&A with Amy if you've got the time. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we touched on is the new AI-powered targeting that Topple offers. So for those of you who have been advertising with us for a long time, you might be familiar with the fact that we used to only be able to target by weapons and defense. We had very big buckets. Well, we launched 105 new AI-powered interest targeting segments. And what that means is effectively we're looking at not just the JavaScript that's sitting across all of these publisher websites that we work with, whether it's Gunbroker, AR15.com, Gun Digest, Recoil, shootinguk.co.uk. I mean, all of these different platforms, we're able to analyze what kind of content people are consuming, right? So are they looking at what's the perfect gun for a new gun owner? Are they looking at, who makes the best affordable precision rifles? Or what's the best suppressor for my 5.56? They're constantly researching. So we're using not just the publisher data on the content side, but we're also able to say, okay, that user has then gone to this manufacturer's website and they've looked at these products or these product categories and they've added these ones to their cart. So we're able to look at their purchase behavior and kind of model and graph them and build these, very narrowly targeted interest profiles around things like handguns, rifles, shotguns, suppressors, shooting instruction, big game hunting, personal defense, hunting travel. And we've gotten some great feedback as well because, one of our customers is one of the largest ammunition companies in the world. And it's like, oh, we don't have ammunition here. So we'll be adding things like ammunition. We'll also be breaking out rifles into bolt action and semi-automatic so that way you can get even more granular. But this is just a little bit more that you can do that wasn't possible, just back in September of this year. And then before we get to the Q&A, just some next steps to start thinking about for the holiday advertising season. If you're interested in having a one-on-one holiday advertising strategy session, we're still hosting those for this week and the remainder of next week. And of course, many of the people who are joining us today, they already advertise with Topple, but if you don't already, you can create an account at app.wearetopple.com. And of course, to all of Amy's points, now is the time to get your measurement strategy in place. So if you're not sure how you're measuring success and you're just kind of running campaigns or sending emails and posting on social because you feel like you have to do it, get an actual measurement plan in place. So that way you can say, okay, this is working and this isn't. Let's put more effort and more budget into these things that are actually working. And then I would say as soon as possible, if you haven't already started creating your holiday display and video ads, now's the time to do it. And as I mentioned earlier, we don't create ads for any of our clients, but we've got a great Rolodex of agencies and freelancers who I think for as little as like $450 can go ahead and create an entire ad set for you. And, these freelancers, they've been in-house at places like Vortex Optics. So they understand the industry, they get, what needs to be designed. And when it comes to a price point, on a cost per hour basis, you might get more bang for your buck than, even having it produced in-house. And then by November 21st, I would say you want to look at launching that initial wave of holiday campaigns. So with that, I'd like to, thank everybody for joining us. Thank Amy. We do have a couple questions, so let's jump into those. One of the questions, Amy, is to what degree does your data suggest your brand is driving the success you're seeing in Topple versus Topple driving your brand? Now, Aero Precision already has a lot of brand awareness. How would you answer that question, I guess, in two different parts? One, from your position where you already have so much brand awareness, and second, from maybe a company that doesn't have that level of awareness.
Yeah, sure. That's a great question, actually. So, one of the reasons we actually were seeking a digital advertising platform like Topple was because we noticed we noticed a decline in our numbers. And so, one of the things that my team and I were doing, we were asking ourselves, what are we not doing that we need to put into place? And what, taking a look at what we were using at the time, how is it not working for us? And what do we need to make it work for us? And how can we cut our how can we cut our efforts and our budget to maximize, or but still get the results that we're looking for, right? So the thing that I was most attracted to with Topple was the fact that we control the data, and I wasn't sending an email out to somebody saying, hey, I wasn't getting a report at the end of 1 month or 1 quarter and then just seeing what didn't work 30 days ago. I wanted the ability to get creatives out, figure out what's working, what's not working, and then make sure that our efforts and our marketing budget for ads were being used properly, and being able to make that change. I mean, that was the biggest draw to Topple, was that I had a login and I had a dashboard, and I could control what we were doing with the creatives and where we were serving those ads. Just another real world example here, we had a specific rifle that it had a special edition roll mark on it that was specific to a particular state. And so someone in California, or someone in, that's a bad example, but someone in Florida, for example, probably wouldn't be interested in a rifle that had a roll mark with the state of Wyoming on it. And so being able to only serve that particular SKU to the customers in that state and the surrounding state was helpful. So that's just an example of what I mean when we are in control of where ads are being served and how we can control it in real time, in addition to the ad sizes, what's working, what's not. What we use Topple for, in addition to that, is also to reach top of funnel customers. So even though we have a lot brand awareness already, which I can see because our direct is the number one traffic our traffic driver when I look at traffic acquisition, and then organic is second. What happens with Topple is I'm able to find the consumers that may not necessarily know about Aero Precision, but they definitely know firearms. And I can manipulate that with the data that Brian showed in one of the previous slides here, this one. You know, what user interests would you like to target? So I'm able to say shooting sports. I can say shooting sports in these states. I can say for under weapons and defense, now we have that weapons and defense category broken down even further. So I can find new gun owners. If, for companies that offer handguns, I can specifically target people that are searching for handguns, personal defense, rifles, accessories, instruction. You know, the list is there for you. So for us, being able to target top of funnel customers has been probably the most valuable asset that Topple has brought to us, as far as, you know, why we go, how it helps us, I should say. For brands that may not have that same awareness that a larger brand already does, again, with that brand awareness and being able to find customers that you know have like-minded interests, if you have your customer profiles, you know what your average customer, what they're also doing, what other are they into sports, what other hobbies are in the same, maybe not firearms, but they're in the same book, maybe not on the same page. There might be an interest there that you haven't been able to capture by just sending out emails, because that person hasn't subscribed to you yet. So getting people to your website is the number one. I just need people to get to my website, because from there I'm relying on my web team to have, great graphics and displays. It's an easy to navigate website, so they're able to click through. They then want to sign up for an incentive if they sign up for our email list. And so now I've brought them in, and my list just increases every single time we do an ad. Our list increases because I'm capturing that new user, and of course keeping our list healthy. That's very imperative to what we do.
You touched on an important thing here that we didn't really discuss much in the presentation, right? But the post-click experience, right? So even if you have a great looking ad and you've got a killer product, but the website just isn't designed, to actually get people to convert, the campaign's never going to perform as well as it could. Obviously, brands like Aero Precision, Magpul, I mean, there's a handful of brands that just like really get it, and their post-click experience is built to convert users. But I wouldn't downplay how important it is to make sure your web team is building, the entire e-commerce experience to drive not just initial conversions, but also like upselling and getting people to buy additional accessories and products.
Exactly.
So one additional question, and this is a good question, although I don't know how much Aero Precision actually does this. So the question is, to what proportion does retargeting and follow-up targeting contribute to the overall return on ad spend? Now, it's my understanding that you guys do a fair amount of prospecting campaigns. Do you guys often run retargeting campaigns? And if so, what does that look like for you?
Well, we do run retargeting campaigns in other areas. We do have other ways that we kind of target the post-purchase list, if that's what you're asking about. As far as retargeting, I'm not really sure I understand the question, Brian.
So like,
are we talking?
So I think the question's related to like running retargeting campaigns on Topple or through email or SMS for site visitors or abandoned cart campaigns, things of that nature. You guys primarily use Topple to drive that top of funnel traffic, I think.
We do, yeah.
How important is that retargeting to your overall ROAS?
So overall ROAS, it's huge. We, like you mentioned, we don't generally run. That's probably something that we're underutilizing with Topple is retargeting campaigns because, again, I've mentioned we primarily use Topple to reach the top of funnel customers because that has been successful for us. We do run abandoned cart campaigns, and we also have post-purchase retargeting. Abandoned carts, huge. We also look at product browse. We send specific campaigns to those individuals, and we fortunately we do have a pretty sophisticated method of doing that because we are capturing even anonymous browsers on our site, and so they are targeted in a completely separate way. But it's very important to our overall ROAS, I'd say. And so if you don't have a marketing plan designed for your your return to funnel customers, I would say that's a strategy that you really need to to tighten up on because it does play a huge factor in just overall revenue.
All right, perfect. All right, on that, it's been a full hour. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Amy, for your time today and your expertise. I know I appreciated it. It was a great conversation. We will be sending this out so that way if you had a colleague or a peer that wasn't able to attend and you want to be able to share it with them, an email will be going out with a recording of today's masterclass. So keep an eye out for that. And if there's anything that we can do over here at Topple to help you out, just shoot me an email or create an account at wearetopple.com.